Gentlemen, so Warren Buffett sells $7 billion worth of Bank of America stock. There's obviously a great crash ahead of us. The deep state insiders are getting out long before American retail and the general public. They're dumping their bags on the face of the American people. I believe they're preparing for a 1929 Great Depression event. I think we will see a bigger shock than what we saw in 2020. A bigger shock than what we saw in 2008 and 09. And of course, this guarantees more massive wealth extraction from the middle class, hyperinflation in the United States, as the central bank is now gearing up for next week massive rate cuts. Now, we're going to talk about this whole lot and more. Please like and share, get this video out to the American public, and get the critical information. More importantly, take action and protect yourself from what's currently happening. So the first question you need to ask is, why is Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway unloading billions and billions of dollars of Bank of America stock? And by the way, I think it'll come out later that he was actually selling today. I would use any strength in the US stock market to sell. Just like I put out a video yesterday, I said, the stock market is poised for a crash. They're going to blame Trump. As soon as Trump gets in, if he's not taken out first, they'll take the economy to zero. They'll crash everything. They'll blame him. They'll bring in, of course, World War III and a whole level of other shock events. People like Klaus Schwab and others have been telling us about, telling us to get ready for, of course, cyber events, grid downs, all kinds of things going on that we see even geopolitically right now in Israel, Iran, Gaza, Lebanon, and Ukraine. So it's a multi-flagration event. It is World War III. World wars are always fought, of course, over currencies, people, populations, which is why the primary target in 2020 was people. And it was your body, and it was infringing on your sovereignty, and it was shutting down your businesses, and it was promoting large amounts of fear through the mainstream media, which is how they control people. Again, anyone that's ever told me, Christopher, you're fear-mongering. No, I'm not fear-mongering, guys. The media is. The mainstream media said that you would no longer be with us and you would have a severe winter of illness, and you know what? They said that. It's the president that's a fear-monger. It's people like Bill Gates that fear-mongered you. It's the mainstream media that fear-mongered you. It's CNN, Fox News. It's the professionals, right? It's the authorities that fear-monger you. I only bring you the truth and tell you what the trends are, what's going to happen next. And I'm telling you right now, a massive stock market meltdown. Warren Buffett is front-running all of you. He is legally required to disclose his selling, of which he's doing massively right now, which tells us a couple things. Warren Buffett's expecting bank runs in Bank of America stock. He has zero faith in Bank of America stock. He's selling it because he doesn't think it's profitable. He's either building cash positions, which we've seen him do, which are the largest in world history, and or he's deploying and reallocating into other sectors of the economy, which I believe have much more to do with World War III, war, economic collapse, and grid down. Case in point, where is Buffett's money going? Well, the cash pile's there to buy on the next great crash. That's why you hold cash. Cash produces no income. Cash is a terrible investment. With hyperinflation, you're actually losing money. Someone like Warren Buffett holding hundreds of billions of dollars of cash is actually imprudent as a fiduciary unless he thinks that he, along with the rest of his team, is going to come into the market and buy essentially what will be a bloodbath worse than probably 2008 and 09 or 1929. Now, where is Warren Buffett actually buying right now, proving that we're not moving to electric cars or green energy? All that's a fraud. It's one big sales pitch and scam. Actually, where Buffett is deploying some money is not only buying train and logistic companies, but he's actually buying a lot of big oil. So that kind of tells you something that, Warren Buffett, right? I mean, he's a part of all the green movement stuff and the climate awareness, but where's his money going? Big oil. He's actually deploying a lot more capital into Occidental Petroleum, for example, and also natural gas, which tells you we're not getting away from any of that. It's all lies, all fraud. There's like 5 different trucks now that are electric that are priced above $100K. So like the Tesla Cybertruck is like a $100,000 truck. And the other competitors that I think came out from Ford and a few others are also $100,000 trucks, which I always find funny. People are like, Christopher, who has 30K? You get to own beachfront, guys, with no bank debt, and we're tokenizing at 1,000x, making people rich. But then they'll go out and buy a $100,000 depreciating asset, an electric cuck truck that doesn't even work, that'll probably lock your doors in a Minority Report, which, by the way, is emitting tons of cancerous radiation via its electrical output, which they never tell you about. There will be major lawsuits in the future as people develop cancer in Elon Musk's Teslas and other electric vehicles, in my opinion, in the future. Because again, they emit tons of radiation, which are extremely toxic to the cellular structure. And it's probably just as bad almost as like a delayed chemotherapy, quite frankly, which I'm going to talk about Kate Middleton in a moment as well, and why she hasn't lost her hair, even though she's allegedly been fighting cancer and been under severe toxic loads of chemotherapy. Another side story. So Warren Buffett sells $7 billion worth of Bank of America stock. Again, I've been telling you bank runs are coming. It'd be the only reason why he'd be selling. There's already been massive bank closures, whether or not it's Silvergate, Silicon Valley, Credit Suisse, which was one of the largest banks in the world. So for those of you that think that your bank account won't be closed at Bank of America in the coming months in a bank run, I'm telling you that you're wrong. Okay, Credit Suisse, I'd have to take a look how big it was comparatively to Bank of America, but I'm pretty sure it was either bigger or of similar equivalent size. Maybe you can look that up for me real quick and leave a comment. I'd certainly appreciate it. So don't tell me that company can't go down. And also understand it already did in 2008-09. Every single major financial institution in your lifetime is a zombie, too big to fail bailout company that went bankrupt, broke, and to zero in 2008 and 09. And the only reason they still exist, malfeasantly, through manipulation, debt, and bailouts, which are sky high at $35 trillion, is because you, the American taxpayer, were ripped off through criminal bailouts by the criminal elite, people like Warren Buffett, the Obamas at the time, that ripped off America with trillions of dollars worth of bailouts, TARP funds, and gave it to the same rich bureaucrats that caused the crisis in the future and the greatest calamity and the economic collapse recently that was in our lifetime in 2008 and 09. Now, of course, it's going to be much worse this time around. There will probably be martial law this time. They are right about that. I would expect more bank closures, hyperinflation, the eradication of jobs, food shortages, transportation problems, cyber events like have been warned by Klaus Schwab and others, World War III. Expect the worst. Expect the worst economically, financially, expect the worst geopolitically with world war in Gaza, Iran, Taiwan, Ukraine, the list goes on and on. Now, I'm not saying to be all negative. There are opportunities like in Bitcoin and assets with no bank debt. You need to be buying real assets. Silver, gold are really excellent plays. Land. This is the best, though, because it's got actual production of cash flows, and it's got utility and an ecosystem, and is also playing 1,000x offense on a multi-billion-dollar blockchain. So I always tell you what the solutions are. But if you're betting on the old, dying, dinosaur, bankrupt, failed bailout system, you're going to lose.